So I've read some more interesting things in this book by Warren Buffett. But the one thing that kind of stood out to me with this book so far, and I'm only on chapter one, was his approach to how he viewed school. Warren Buffett, I don't know if he finished school or not. I haven't read that far into it. But there was a point when Warren Buffett felt that he was more knowledgeable about that subject of investing and finance than his professors. And he didn't waste time with it. So that just kind of makes me think about when I remember I was sitting in this elementary school I used to work at, Stony Creek Elementary, and they told me, this is my first year working there, they was like, are you going to go back and finish college? I told them no. Even though that year, after that teaching year, I went back to college the year uh, after that, but no. 2017, I was a school teacher. 2016, I was a school teacher. 2017, I went back to college, but I'm not. That's besides the point. I remember sitting in that break room, and everybody was like, "Why aren't you going back to college?" And I told them, I truly believe. This is literally what I told them. I was like, I truly believe there is no point in going to college. We're paying $40,000 and up, $30,000 and up for a piece of paper where somebody else approves or stamps our knowledge. And all of that knowledge did was what? Come out of a book. You go to college and pay for these books. You see what I'm saying? I want y'all to understand that. So, what I mean by that is, let me tell you the realization I had that college wasn't for me. Um, so, I went to, well, I was a part of 5 different colleges. Okay, I went to a college called Central Piedmont with my one of my best friends. Me and him are still friends to this day. Central Piedmont is a school in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a nice campus or whatever. If you see it, it's very nice. I didn't know too much about college. I didn't understand the process behind college. I didn't know what college was. I didn't understand credits. I didn't know anything, right? So that was first. I ended up not going there. I tried to enroll to this community college with one of my other friends, Stanley Community College. Me and that friend are no longer friends, but that's besides the point. I attended Stanley Community College. I was trying to get in, but I didn't understand the process behind these things. When I tell you I was so stuck in a dark hole, in a dark position, I didn't know my social security. I didn't know my parents' birthdays. I didn't know my brother and sister birthdays by heart. Like, it was so much stuff I didn't know, and now people might judge me or things like that. But the thing is, when you're stuck in a poverty mindset, you don't care about nothing but trying to just make it through that one day. So I attended both of them colleges. It didn't work out. I've been to both campuses trying to enroll, things like that. But the whole thing behind FAFSA, needing your parents to sign off on this and that, it was just, a bunch. So I was still playing basketball at the time. I was okay in high school. I averaged 9 points per game, 8.7. I just rounded to 9. I was okay. Now, the way I view life now, who knows if I would have accepted those colleges my coach was trying to get me to go to. Who knows what would have happened if I'd have went to those colleges. Mind you, my coach, Coach Davis, is a good guy. Um, Real good guy. They win a lot of basketball championships at that school now. It was I want to say his second or third year when I ran into him, when I met him at the school. But my viewpoint of the world was so backwards, and oftentimes I had to question myself. You know, Maybe the way these people respond to you, maybe the way girls talk to you, maybe the way friends treat you, maybe the way the coaches and people around school treat you is a representation of the environment you're coming from. Raggedy looking clothes, haircut not always in place, knockoff shoes, all type of things. Like, and you can ask some of my friends. Those of you who watch my videos, if you know any of my friends that I grew up with, ask them. They'll tell you. I used to have Adidas with no stripes on them. Now, I don't really know how to explain the shoe, but the shoe, I used to hoop in them. I couldn't afford like shoes to play on the team. It was this thing where the coach had to get, it was a list. Everybody on the team write their name on the list. It was like a money order type of thing. You know them little books they send out in school where you can buy stuff out the book and you send in your information back to the office and they send it off and all the products and items that come into the school. It was one of those for the team. And I couldn't afford the Nikes that the team was trying to get. So my dad would stall and explain why it's okay, you need to wait, this and that. So a lot of times we had to go without. A lot of times other people had to wait because we couldn't afford things. All right. So my dad, being a good man, he was a good father. He did what he had to do. But I want to get out of that state of survival. My dad is a warrior. He is a survivor. Anything dealing with life, as far as a struggle and surviving, nobody can beat my dad in that, hands down. My dad know how to fix things. He know how to rig things. My dad know how to go out here and get some food if it need to be done. He know how to. I'm not even gonna get into other stuff that my dad know how to do. And if it comes down to if my dad has to, you know, he'll do that too. So if y'all understand what I mean, then we're just gonna move on from that. But yeah, I didn't understand what school or anything was. I wasn't listening to those things my coaches was telling me. I would listen to what my father would tell me about going to college. But me and my father's whole goal was to go to the NBA. Me and my father's whole goal was to make it big, was to make it to the top level. So the colleges my coach was getting me was D3s, NAIAs, D2s. Now, here we have a coach who played the game of basketball, as far as my dad also playing the game of basketball. But we know sometimes parents can, hype their child up as if their child is the best. Now, I love my father. My results on the court and everything showed and reflected that I could play at a high level. When we're in a gym, just playing around, running street ball type of things, I would outperform everybody. I don't care who you are watching this video. At the YMCAs, the rec centers, the outdoor courts, I could outperform. The thing was, I didn't understand the game of basketball. I didn't understand half court setting. I didn't know where you should be at if they're 2 passes away, 3 passes away, on the midline, if you should be under the basket. I didn't understand help side if the guy is fronting the man in the post. Didn't understand any of those things. I didn't understand pick and roll. I didn't understand positioning. Like if a guy's here, if you drive and the dude is under the basket, that means he's helping out from the corner, one of the corners, so you should kick it to the corner. I didn't understand timing and precision, none of those things. So I guess my coach was trying to put me somewhere where I would fit, where my game would thrive based on what I knew. But I didn't understand that. So I ended up going to Brown Mackey College. I spent 3 years at Brown Mackey Community College. It's a junior college. A lot of guys went to the NBA D1. And same thing I'm hearing there. My coach was telling me, Kev, go where you're wanted. My mind, ignoring those things, listening to my father, we going D1. My goal was to go to Southern California, Long Beach State, UCLA, Pepperdine, Santa Clara, UC Santa Barbara, like all those, Cal State, Riverside, Poly, all those type of schools. I was trying to go back to the West Coast. That's where my whole family is from. So, still not listening, ignoring those type of things. I did my 2-3 years at school. I caught a letter from Maine University. Long story short, me and my coach, we was at differences. I got into some trouble in school as far as just being reckless. We was shooting paintballs and all that type of thing after school. Got in trouble. This was a long time ago. So I don't know if y'all remember, there was it was like a time when we were shooting paintball guns and BB guns, shooting them all over the neighborhoods and cities all across the country. He was getting arrested for that because it was vandalizing and damaging property. And in Kansas, where I was before, we were doing those things and ended up getting in trouble. Now, remind you, I was the only one who got caught. And when the office coach asking me if anybody else did it, I told him no. I was the only one out there shooting the guns, shooting the BB guns, paintball guns at different people. This story is going to get to why I view college the way I view it. So, long story short, I don't get that offer because, me and the coach had differences, didn't send off film, things like that. It's all on me. I'm not upset at him at all. So I moved on. I went to a school back home. My cousin was telling me to come to this school called Livingstone College. Livingstone College is where my mind opened up. Now, before I went to Livingstone, let me rewind. After Brown Mackey, I sat out of school for a whole year. In a dark state of mind. I was depressed. I was messed up mentally. Sat in my room for a year. I became a school teacher. Not because I like kids at the time. I love kids. I don't want any kids of my own. But I love kids, and not because they're cute, they're adorable. I like kids because of the innocence they have in their mind. I like that us as adults, us as parents, us as big brothers and big sisters, it is very important that we understand that we are the reason why kids turn out the way they turn out. And people don't want to accept that or understand that. But the influence, the environment it has on these kids is very important. Me being a school teacher, talking to these kids, I felt more like a counselor than anything, even though I wasn't paid for it. I like that I could sit and talk with kids. So oftentimes I was a teacher assistant, run off, print these papers, this and that. I started turning into a behavioral management type of deal at the school where I would sit with kids, talk to them, figure it out. And the whole time, this is all about mindset. Remind you, I'm talking to these kids, listening to their mindset, trying to figure out what it is that they went through at their homes. And I was not one of them guys who would call social service, call the police or anything when something was going on in the house. Because there's also another side where I don't know the story. So, oftentimes I was just making sure I was the big brother, the big friend. So, mind you, I told you I was sitting in the break room, and I told them, I don't see the point in college. We're paying for a piece of paper. And everybody was like, no, you're wrong. These people can help you do this and that. That is true if those professors and teachers take the time out to talk to you and be around you after the school hours are done. Let me get this straight, and let me tell you, all teachers don't have time to talk to the students after school is over, after class is over. They have time for the ones who look like they're taking it serious. Now, my thing in school, I looked like I was taking it serious, but as far as the grades and everything, it was not adding up. Basketball influenced my mind so much that I didn't care about sports. I didn't care about school. When I wasn't playing basketball, I said, forget school. It was in a harsher way I said it, but I was like, forget school. So here I am, in school, I'm shooting around with the kids and everything outside, and everybody was like, you should go back to school. You should go back to school and finish. So I called up a few schools in Kansas, a little NAIA division, KCAC, and Kansas Western was the one that accepted me, Coach Anthony Munson. Coach Munson is a great person. Let me start off by saying that Coach Munson was a great guy. He was a cool dude, very laid back, very understanding of situations. The only thing I would say is basketball-wise, I felt like at the time he didn't know what he was doing. And I'm saying that only because I didn't get to play. But it was clear. You can ask anybody who was there. My skills and talent was way, but this is what I'm saying, mindset, changing the way you are. I was walking around school with a hoodie on all day. Out here, out there in Kansas, don't wear no hoodie. People want to see your face. People want to see you. Don't wear hoodies. I should have learned like the environment. So one thing about business, when you're in school, athletes, when you are in school, college players, when you're in school, high school players, your image is a business. This is a brand. Nice haircut. Make sure your hair is low and cut, okay? Depending on what environment you go into. And some of these rules are jaded. Some of these rules are biased. When you're the man on a team. If you're not the man on a team, even if you're the man on a team, you can go to the next school. Don't think you're going to be that guy. Same way you got to that school, so that all these other guys who came from other schools was the man somewhere else. When I say the man, that means the top dog, the best player on the team. Image. Wear nice fitting clothes. And me being out there in Kansas, the environment was Christian, Catholic based, so you have to fit that image. It's not being fake, it's not being phony. This is what I learned. You have to understand your environment. If everybody in this environment is wearing trucker hats and flannels, if you're trying to fit in, if you're trying to be a part of that community, see what I'm saying? Follow what I'm saying? Now I look at people like Slim Thug, Snoop Dogg, Shaquille O'Neal. Look at their vlogs and documentaries. Look at their podcasts when they go out with different people in different environments and cultures. Snoop Dogg will dress like the people in that environment. Slim Thug will dress like the people in that environment. If he's going to go ride dirt bikes, he's going to wear dirt bike gear. So you fit into the community. So I didn't understand that. And that's probably part of the reason why I didn't get to play. Because the whole thing, when I say this is a business, you're out here representing an image, you're representing a brand. So if you're putting this type of image on the court, this type of image is being portrayed around the communities. When it gets back to who he plays for, who he is, it goes and falls back on the people who put you in that position. So this is all very important. I left Kansas Wesleyan frustrated. I left Kansas Wesleyan frustrated. I was a sophomore there in school. A sophomore in school, frustrated, didn't want to do anything about it. Went home for another year. Mind you, I want to say 23, 23 at the time. And I got a call from my cousin. My cousin was just saying, yo, come down to Livingstone. It's not my real cousin, but it's a brother, a guy I grew up with. Me and him are still cool to this day. Yo, Kev, come out to come out to Livingstone. Livingstone is a college in Salisbury, North Carolina, HBCU. If your mind is in the right place, I would recommend going to any one of these schools. Brian Mackey's not a school no more. But Kansas Wesleyan, if you understand image, perception, environment, and know how to talk business with these people, best place, hands down. Out of all the teachers I met at that school, I don't remember my teacher's name. He was a sociology guy. Kind of heavy-set dude, wore glasses, he had a bald head. But his class helped me to open up the way I viewed everything. And it changed the way I viewed college. It changed the way I view college. It changed the way I viewed college. My personal opinion, I think college is bogus. That's just what it is. I think it is bogus. And the only reason I say that is because I'm $50,000 in debt. Now, that will change. I'm not concerned about that. That will change. But, change my whole... What's up, bro?
Y'all let me slide to the laundromat?
Yeah. It changed my whole perception of, like, everything, right? So, the whole thing was... I enjoyed that class. It was a class about your viewpoint. And there was debates, there was arguments in class, there were people yelling at each other. This class was dope. It literally was just like how me and my bros sit around and we talk while we play the game, while we have some drinks, while we at the bar. We just having a conversation. But he challenges your viewpoints of everything. And I passed that class with a 98%. A dope class. My other teacher, Dr. Hedlund. Dr. Hedlund was one of the best teachers I ever met. His class was hard. I'm talking about, he'll give you a book, You gotta study. If you don't study, man, he could pop up on you the very next class. Get out a sheet of paper. We taking a pop quiz. And you know how it is in college. A lot of people don't study. A lot of people will not study. And every time, here he is showing you like we wrote a big essay. We wrote page like it was dope. It was dope. Helen was a good and Miss P Tag, Professor Boats. All these people were great people. So here we are. I left that school frustrated. Now it's all behind basketball. Frustrated. Not seeing the end goal. Kev, you would have stayed. Who's to say you wouldn't have played next year? You know, I look at everything different. So boom, move on. Cousin told me to come out to Livingstone. I'm at Livingstone, and this is around the time my mother and father divorced. My mom and dad split up. They're not together no more. And I had a 2000, I think 4 Mustang GT 5.0, all black, silver rims, drop top tan, rag top tan, seats on the inside. I thought I was, you know what I'm saying, big dog on camp until it broke down. My car broke down. My parents split up. I lost my job at Dunkin' Donuts. I used to sell donuts at school. At the end of the night, Dunkin' Donuts throws away all their food. So I'd take 4 or 5 boxes of donuts, take them to the school, and sell them 2 for $1. You know, things like that. It got rough. Being out of HBCU, man, your head gotta be on right. Like, I'm talking about, it's real hustlers in these HBCUs. It's real street cats, like all type of everybody coming from all over the world. We had Chicago, DC, St. Louis. We had Florida. We had South Carolina. We had VA. We had Mississippi, Alabama. Like all these guys come from different schools. And remind you, everybody don't go to school for the same reason, but there's a lot of people who go to school just to get away from home for 4 years and they go back. Some people go away from home for 4 years. They vibe and they're away from their environment. I don't judge them. I don't knock them because I was on the same type of thing, especially when basketball stopped. So I'm here at the school. Things start getting rough for me. I had I forgot his name. He was a black guy. He looked like Avery Johnson from Livingstone College. He was my business teacher. Real dope. Real cool. Real cool. I also had a Indian professor. He was from India, and he was a good professor. He used to oftentimes tell me about money management. Now, I often think about these things because there's a time I evaluated myself, and this is all going back to money management, your mindset, how you view things. Trust me, I'm getting to the point. I'm getting to the point about why Warren Buffett, what he said in this book compares to how I was thinking. So we after school, things like that. School started getting hard for me. I couldn't afford school. I was failing classes. I couldn't afford school because my mom and dad weren't together because they was going through their legal fees, so their money had to go here and there. Mind you, before my Mustang broke, I was going back to Charlotte, North Carolina, which was an hour away, driving down there to wash cars with my father. I made an agreement with my brother and sister that if y'all help me get my car for school, the money we make washing cars, I will help y'all get y'all thing next. And it worked until the people made us leave the area we was washing cars. Somebody was hating on us. But things got hard. Our relationship in our household, things was falling apart in our household. Financially, physically, like the house literally falling apart. We had raccoons crawling through the top of the house. We had possums all through the back. We had rats in that mug. It was crazy. But I was comfortable in that messed up environment. So here I am thinking, Kev, you got to get away from your environment. My mom and dad know enough, but they don't know what I want to know. They don't know the knowledge where I'm trying to get to. So I had to bite the bullet and get up out of there. Parents, friends, family, your environment can make you feel uncomfortable for wanting change, for wanting better. But just know, when you elevate and go higher, when you go into a better environment, things is not going to get easier because you're out here in a new world. You're out here in a new playing field. You're out here on a new playing field trying to learn things. So you can be taken advantage of. You can be misused. You can be lied to. You can be treated wrong until you really truly understand who you are. But you have to go back in the past and know everything you went through. You have to understand what made you mad, upset, wrong. I talk about this all the time in my other YouTube videos. You have to understand who you are as a person before you move on. So when you go out here in the real world, you know who you are. So certain things, when you see it coming a certain way, this is why as a man, you cannot be afraid to talk to people straight. As a man, you cannot be scared to talk to people straight. If somebody's rubbing you wrong, hey man, you learn how to, you know what I'm saying, depending on who you're working with. You have to understand people, you have to read people. I have different friends here. Some friends I have to meet eye to eye. When he stand up and say something, I have to stand up and meet him eye to eye, let him know. No. I got other friends, he crack a joke, you gotta crack one right back. You gotta crack a joke right back. Because he gonna keep going. I got other friends, he won't say nothing at all. Just be chilling. I got other friends who try to establish bully and dominance over each other. You have to understand what type of people you're working with out here. So school, I learned that a lot through school. I got in trouble in school when I was at Livingstone. Long story short, even at other schools, I ran from the police before when I was at I'm not gonna name the schools, but I ran from the police at Livingstone. It turned out my friends got into a big, massive brawl. 100 and something people down in a park somewhere, a big, massive brawl, and I'm just sitting here like, now, Kev, what if you would have got shot? What if you never know what can happen? I'm in an all black school. It's a bunch of black dudes in the middle of a field nowhere just throwing hands. And I'm just saying, like, Kev, what if you would have got in trouble? What if you would have got kicked out of school? What if? Now, no matter what I've done in my life, and I'm not going to explain all the things I've got into, all the things I've done, that doesn't matter. My conscience, my mind was always going back to these teachers, these professors. I can even take it back further. My high school gym teacher, Coach Dykema. Coach Dykema, when I didn't play high school basketball, used to always tell me, Kev, you're not playing this year, but you should use this time when you're in the gym to run, to sprint around the track. He's like, I'll let you go to the track, run. Make sure you stay in shape. He's like, I'll set your schedule where you can go work out with the guys in the weight room. He used to always tell me, like, you're better than the guys you're hanging with, Kev. My teacher in the 4th grade, Miss Funches, used to tell me, Kev, I don't know how you hang around these guys and never get in trouble. You never get caught. You never seem to. But that type of luck can run out. And I started realizing that when I had to start go pick up friends from jail. I had to start putting money on some of my friends' books. I had to start making calls. I went to go see one of my best friends' brother in jail. He was facing life in prison. My younger brother was facing 15 years in prison. So I'm like, somebody got to be the one. Just know this: when you're in an environment and your life is going a certain way, mom and dad are probably already stuck in their ways. Mom and dad have already settled into their living, their environment, their culture. But you, as a young kid, you with a creative mindset still. You still have innovation. You still have creativity. If you don't get a grasp, and I'm talking to whoever thinks that they're the chosen one, they're the savior out of their family. If you don't think you are the one to pull everyone out, it might not ever happen. You never know who or when it might come again. Just know that you can be the one to save your family. Take school seriously if you are there. Understand like your image and your brand. So I stopped going to Livingstone. I dropped out. It got hard. It's a whole bunch of things. I'll probably explain the different schools and different stories on some other time. But it got hard. So here it is. Things got hard. I dropped out of school. And everybody's, why you stop playing basketball? Why you drop out of school? I dropped out of school my senior year. And I explained to my parents, like, I just don't feel like school is for me no more. They try to give me a therapist to try to say something was wrong with me. I don't think anything's wrong with me. Last time I talked to a therapist when I was in high school, they sent social workers to our house and was trying to split me, my brother and sister up. So this is when I started fearing the justice system as far as like telling people everything, because people don't have your best interest. Even if they know your best interest, they do what they feel is best. And you can't be mad at nobody for that. It's like you give somebody some money, you cannot be upset that they don't give you money when you need it in return. You did that out of your knowledge and your understanding. That doesn't mean they have the same perception with it, okay? So here we are, you know, I dropped out of school. So what I'm relating that to Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett felt like he was too good for a certain school, like he was smarter than his professors and things like that. I didn't think I was smarter than my professors, but what had me change my viewpoint in school is this list that you can get from your clerk's office, where it explains everything that is being paid for in school. Like everything where you're paying tuition and stuff for, it explains what exactly everything is being paid for. So I was paying $2,000 for dorm living. Dorms wasn't all that. My dorm was a cubicle. I could see my roommate, me and him, literally looking right across from each other. When he was with his girlfriends, his little shorties, I could see everything they was doing. Same on my end. When I'm in there with some shorties, you can see everything I'm doing. So the whole time is just like that. School, everything, like everything is showed they paid for. The cafeteria. The cafeteria came with the dorms, but they slapped another $2,000-$3,000 on top of that, as if everybody was eating in there every day. But don't get me wrong, HBCUs have some of the best food because everybody on the campus is black. So the people in there be cooking food, they be seasoning it up. Man, we had chicken, macaroni, mashed potatoes, gravy. Like Livingstone was basically a high school with dorms. It was fun. So let me keep going. What happened? I'm walking to the library, y'all. This is what made me drop out of school. That same day, I grabbed my bags and just left. I didn't know where I was going. I just left. Um, I'm walking into the bookstore. They tell me how much the books is gonna cost. They give me my paper saying this is what your tuition is paying for or covering, blah blah blah. Your FAFSA, your loans, your unstipends or whatever that is, unsubsidized, all that. I go to the school library and what do I see on the shelf? The same exact book I paid for tuition. Oh, I just paid $2,000 for books, and I found three out of the five books, three out of the five books in the library, and that's what made me stop going to school. I'm like, why the? Excuse me. I was like, I was like, why would I pay $40,000 to $50,000 to go to school when all these books is in the library? Let me tell you something. These people who started the school system are smart because they know people won't go do the knowledge. They won't go seek the knowledge and education themselves. That's what I learned. But if you open a book, you can teach yourself how to do anything. Combine the books that you're reading with YouTube and audiobooks and actually practicing the things that you're learning. There's no need for school. You just have to know that if you go that route, just know you're starting off from ground zero. Even in school you're starting off from ground zero. Actually in school when you're done you're starting off below ground zero because you're X amount of dollars in the hole depending on what it is you do. And remind you, I was failing classes on campus. I failed classes. So as a kid, when you fail these classes in college, you have to pay for those classes through your tuition. They'll slap another $1,000 on for that class. This is how the professors get paid. They got 30 kids in their auditorium, their classroom, whatever. And if 30 kids is paying $1,000 each, that professor gets a percentage of that money, if not all of it. I don't know, but I know that's how the professors get paid. They get paid through the school enrolling kids, and kids are rolling into their class. All right. So I stopped going to school. Once I seen that, I was just like, here I am paying for books that are in the library for free. I'm paying for books that are in the library for free. These same books, you can go find them in a library, in your public library that's out in your city. You can even I forgot the app. It's an app where you can buy books. The books that you're paying for in a brand new bookstore, $10, $20, $30, $40, you can find on this app. Thrift books. It's called thrift books. Thrift books can cut a price down by half, by 50%, 60%. So a book that you was paying $20, $30 for, you can find it on thrift books for $8, $4, $5. And I started finding the books that I was, come on now, you see what I'm saying? So it made me stop going to school. Now, here I am in the room, and now it's a different time when he went to school. Maybe you had to go to school and things like that. But in our society, in our generation now, in this environment, it's 2022. You don't need to go to school. All right? School is right here. This phone that you got. Teach yourself from this phone. This phone, this $1,000 phone can make you a millionaire. They have apps for stock market. They got apps for cryptocurrency. They got apps for real estate. They got apps for starting businesses. They got apps for everything. They got YouTube channels for everything you want to learn. Please use your time. Stop being lazy and educate yourself on how to get ahead out here. So far, let me tell you what I've learned. Actually, I'm going to use that for a different video. If you enjoyed this 30 to 40 minute video on this, I will also explain like my experiences at Brown Mackey, my experiences at Kansas Wesleyan, my experiences at Livingstone, my experiences at working at my elementary school, my experiences at enrolling into CPCC and Stanley Community College. I will explain those in different videos. Tune into my channel. Please hit the like and subscribe button.